Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are St. Louis.
Sunday, the Cardinals got a jolt. Matt Adams with a long home run. Activated and in the starting lineup, ready to go for Game 1 tonight here in Milwaukee. Also activated, Matt Holliday, available to pinch hit. That big bat is ready to roll, and so are we. Baseball comes your way next. This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball, and tonight an all-important series opens up from Miller Park. The Cardinals and Brewers on Fox Sports Midwest. The next two nights feature two starters that have had success against the Brewers this year in games 2 and 3, Jaime Garcia and John Lackey. Tonight, though, it's Carlos Martinez, and the young right-hander is trying to pick up win number 14. With the man on Gary and Al Raboski, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Delighted to have you with us as we get you set for baseball. Obviously, a very big start tonight for Carlos Martinez.
No doubt about it. Of late, he's had a little trouble getting through the 6th inning, but the one thing we always have seen from this tough right-hander is that he'll give his team a chance to win, and we expect that again tonight.
That means it's Carlos Martinez. They need a good start. And starting things off, the Cardinals' leadoff man. Can he get it going? Will we see Martinez at the end of that receiving line get wet? Why not? Baseball next. in the Brewers and of 3 between the Brewers and the St. Louis Cardinals. Congratulations to Adam Wainwright, the Cardinals nominee for the Roberto Clemente Award. This award recognizes a player who best represents the game through positive contributions on and off the field. In addition to that, he's also been nominated by his teammates for the 2015 Marvin Miller Man of the Year Award. Congratulations to the Cardinals, Adam Wainwright. The Cardinals will send Carlos Martinez to the mound tonight. He's looking for victory number 14. Ariel Pena, 1-0 for the Brewers. Baseball, next. Dan McLaughlin with you. 73 degrees, our game time temperature. Beautiful night for baseball from Miller Park in Milwaukee. And away we go. Game 1 of 3. The Cardinals and the Brewers. Ariel Pena will get the start tonight. Hard-throwing right-hander for Milwaukee as Matt Carpenter leads it off for St. Louis. And the first pitch is taken for a strike. What do we know about Pena, Al?
Well, like you said, he's a hard thrower. He's always going to be around the in the minor leagues. He's always around the strikeout leaders, but also around the walk leaders. He came from the Angels in the Greinke deal. So now we have Segura, their shortstop. Hellwig was a right-handed pitcher, and the third in exchange for Zach Greinke back in 2012 is Pena. He's making his second start. He's 1-0 on the year. Went 5 innings in his first start.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. And Carpenter lifts a fly ball, a liner into right, a sinking liner at that, and it's caught by Ryan Braun. The Cardinals on this road trip, they dropped 3 of 4 in Cincinnati. They've hit .243 thus far. It's Carpenter, Piscotty, and Hayward, followed by Johnny Peralta. Great numbers here at Miller Park, a .400 average, 8 home runs. Then Matt Adams, Yadier Molina, Wong, Jay, and Martinez. Great to see that Holiday is listed as available and ready to go tonight as a pinch hitter. In terms of everyday play, a slow process to get him back in there.
But psychologically, it's a real plus having one of your team leaders available.
Ripped down the left field line, high, towering fly ball that is yanked foul. Home run distance off the bat of Stephen Piscotty. The Hyundai pitch arsenal for Ariel Pena.
You see, pretty much he's a 2-pitch pitcher. The 4-seamer and the slider will occasionally throw the change. Guys like Piscotty definitely have advantage against him because Piscotty and Pena all of last year were at AAA together in the Pacific Coast League, and a lot this year.
And there's a strike to Stephen Piscotty. It's career game number 50 tonight for Piscotty, and already with 60 hits, 30 RBIs, and riding a 6-game hitting streak. Ground ball left side, backhanded by Segura. Strong arm shows it off for out number 2. Milwaukee defensively tonight, Chris Davis in left, Domingo Santana is in center field, and Ryan Braun in right. Herrera, Segura, Jeanette, and Lind on the infield. Martin Maldonado is behind the plate. 2 outs, and it brings in Jason Hayward. Cardinals were outscored in the first 3 games against Cincinnati 20-3 before winning 9-2 on Sunday, and Jason Hayward had a big game in game number 4 against the Reds.
Yeah, that was kind of like the Cardinals of the first 4 months of the season showed up, and the imposters were there for the first 3 games, but everything went well. Good starting pitching will do that to you.
1-0 pitch. Hayward had a couple of doubles on Sunday, and he's had a good road trip this far, 7 for 16. The 2-0. Hayward rips it into right center field. Braun is on the move. That ball is a ground rule double. So it's another double for Jason Hayward. This one coming with 2 outs here in the top of the first.
You know, Hayward's coming off of 3 multi-hit games the last 3 days in Cincinnati. Now he picks up the double here. That's number 31 of the season. And the Cardinals are going to get a lot of pitches up in the zone, and they're going to hit this young guy hard. A lot of people associated with Milwaukee kind of wonder why he's even getting the start. And as I said, it's his second major league start, but they think he's got a big league arm, but more suited for the bullpen.
Maybe this is the place to get Johnny Peralta going. Hitting .151 in his last 16 games. But in this ballpark, as I mentioned, a .400 average with 8 home runs.
And Dan, I think by design, he was really dragging, so the resting over the weekend, had the off day yesterday. That was a big shot in the arm for the entire team. And I think they'll respond, and you'll see the last couple of weeks, we're going to see the Cardinals we've saw, the good Cardinal team.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Peralta. The fastball that misses in, as you mentioned, basically a 2-pitch pitcher. Sinker, slider. That sinker is around 92 to 95 miles an hour. So he figures to be a bullpen pitcher in the long term, late innings, maybe even a closer. But getting this start as a stopgap in the rotation, which has had a lot of bumps in the road. The 2-0. Hit sharply to third, backhanded by Herrera. Long throw and takes a hit. And RBI away from Johnny Peralta. What a play by Elian Herrera. Half inning in the books, no score. And making their way to the bullpen here in Milwaukee out of the Cardinals dugout. What a play this was moments ago by Elian Herrera.
A 30-year-old here, and he backhands this ball, takes a hit and RBI away from Carpenter with a very nice play. You kind of look at some of these defenders for Milwaukee, and defense is not exactly their strong suit, but a real nice play by Herrera there.
Carlos Martinez getting the call tonight, start number 27. He is 13-7 this year. Scooter Gennett will lead it off.
Scooter Gennett always hits the Cardinals well, and he's 3 for 5 against Martinez.
That's 3 for 5 with a double against Carlos. And the 1-0 pitch taken low. 2 balls and no strikes. Milwaukee really could have a say in what happens with the Cardinals. 7 games remaining, including 4 to close out the Cardinals' home portion of the schedule in late September. That's hit out of play.
Dan, all the Cardinals need to do is continue to play the excellent baseball against Milwaukee. And yeah, they'll have something to say, but they'll be telling the 2015 Central Division champions.
2-1 pitch taken high, and it's 3-1. Gennett, Braun, Lind, Domingo Santana all have had very good numbers the last 7 to 10 days. So this lineup swinging some very good bats. Ground ball taken there by Matt Adams. Flips to Martinez for the out. So Gennett followed by Herrera, switch hitter, then Ryan Braun, Adam Lind, Chris Davis, Domingo Santana, Gene Segura, Martin Maldonado, and Pena, the pitcher, is batting 9th. On the bench, you see there for Craig Counsell. Took over for Ron Renicky back on May 4th. The Brewers started this season 7-18. They are 8 games below 500 under Counsell. Good fastball. This guy has been a thorn in the Cardinals' side. 7 for 17 against the Redbirds this year. Herrera, a .400 hitter in his career against the Cardinals, showing bunt quickly, no balls, 2 strikes.
If you jump out ahead of him, I think that changes those numbers dramatically.
The 0-2. Well, good to see not only Holiday activated, but also Matt Adams, who made that play at first base. Talking with Matt. There's Holiday, but Matt Adams before the game in the clubhouse, and that's the first strikeout for Martinez. Adams says he has 0 limitations. 0. That's Matt Adams. Holiday, baby steps along the way. Cardinals defensively with Adams at first, Wong to his right at second base, then Peralta and Carpenter on the left side of the infield. Molina's behind the plate. Piscotty, Jay, and Hayward in the outfield. That's presented by Dobbs. Here's Ryan Braun. This last month, he's hitting close to 400. Chased the ball, strike one. You see, when the roof is open and the paneling beyond the left and right center field walls is open, the ball just jumps and flies out of here, and there's a base hit into right. As a matter of fact, Miller Park has seen the second most home runs of any park this year. The Yankees, #1, Yankee Stadium. Hyundai pitch arsenal for Carlos Martinez.
So the four-seamers and the sinkers, 2 fastballs, then the slider gets a lot of change out of that, and the changeup is a much improving pitch. 2 outs, nobody on, so you challenge somebody up in the strike zone a little bit, and Braun, even better piece of hitting, drives it into right for the single.
Adam Lind is 1 home run shy of his 5th 20 home run season.
He can hit, can he?
And especially here at home. And especially against right-handed pitching. 3rd best in the National League at this ballpark. .338 is average here at Miller Park. .301 against right-handers. And the Brewers and their new general manager, whomever that may be, will have a decision to make on Lind, as the club holds an $8 million option on him for next year.
I don't know how truthful it was, but his name was rumored a lot with the Cardinals at the trade deadline. I asked somebody if he was available, and they said yeah, at the right price, and I'm sure the price was a little too high for the Cardinals' taste.
Here's an 0-2. Back to Martinez. Nice play. Underhands and flips to Matt Adams. Brewers strand a runner. Cardinals have Adams, Molina, and Wong coming up in the second. Day here in Milwaukee, and a reminder that baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And visit your local Mid-America Chevy dealers for great prices on our all-new 2015 vehicles today. So again, Adams saying no limitations for him as he leads it off and takes a ball high. 2 balls, no strikes. ran the bases over the weekend. He said moving side to side laterally was the final hurdle for him to get in this lineup. We saw him homer on Sunday. First home run since May 20th.
Been okay with you if he just hit some long balls and let him trot for
That'd be fine by me.
Next week or so.
Yeah. The 2-1 popped up to the left side and out of play.
The other thing is, Dan, you know, when you're trying to come back from a leg injury, you really cannot simulate what happens to a player in game conditions. And, you know, when you really try to bust your tail out of the batter's box. So you still have to play a little carefully.
2 balls, 2 strikes on Adams. John Mozeliak visiting with us before the game talked about how you look at Adams and Holiday and treat this as if it's spring training to an extent. Very careful in how you run. It's about getting timing back, but the Cardinals don't have that luxury of a big lead anymore.
Stays good hack, so isn't he? We'll see. He's timing may be off a little bit, but he's going to do some damage while he's really getting it back in place. Originally wasn't supposed to be 4 to 6 month injury, and he's back in 3.
And they say he went. So strikeout of Adams. Didn't look like he went at all. John Mozeliak, I think, is looking at the replay and questioning that as well. That's Michael Gersh on the left, the assistant general manager of the St. Louis Cardinals. John was in Jupiter, Florida over the weekend, wrapping up the organizational meetings, as well as Cincinnati. And here's Yadier Molina. Molina basically has played a full season against the Milwaukee Brewers in his career. 153rd game tonight, career game against Milwaukee. Just over 500 at bats, 29 doubles, 14 home runs in what has been, it seems to be, a Hall of Fame career, at least on his way. The 2-0.
There's all the wildness that we've heard from Pena. Just about every level in the minor leagues, he was among the league leaders or leader in walks. He also had a lot of strikeouts there too.
Further your point, it was nearly 5 walks per 9 innings. That's the biggest issue that he had had in the minor leagues. 2-2. Ground ball, it's put in play, hit the second base. Scooter Gennett, 2 down. Let's turn to Al Raboski's Toyota keys to the game.
Well, we want to go for the juggler. You know, you've got a team like Milwaukee that if you get on top of them, you can just keep them down. And remember, Martinez had a little trouble getting through the 6th inning late. Well, that shouldn't be a problem with the 12 arms down there in the bullpen and an off day yesterday. Plenty of arms to go get him if you need to go get him quick.
And a strike. Mention how this is a stopgap type of start because Matt Garza is no longer in the Brewers rotation. As a matter of fact, he will not pitch for Milwaukee the remainder of this season. That pitch is popped up. We'll have more on that when we come back as the Cardinals go in order. Craig Counsell and the Brewers trying to play spoiler in the National League Central Division. the starting lineup. More on that. Let's check in with Pat.
Yeah, Dan, for Matt Holliday, of course, it's a pinch hit opportunity off the bench. He's still progressing towards making a start, perhaps even here in Milwaukee a little later this week, or certainly by the time we get to Wrigley Field in Chicago. He ran the bases today, and Mike Matheny said he looked much better as he moved and recovered from that quad injury. For Matt Adams, you've been talking about what, not as many limitations as you might think, but Mike Matheny did talk about for Matt Adams is like a spring training game, as you gentlemen suggested last inning, and that is after 5-6 innings, if the opportunity presents itself, or if maybe he looks like he's struggling a little bit, you'll lift him for another one of the first basemen on the roster right now. And maybe tomorrow he gets a day off. You might only play him 2 of 3 games. It just depends on how he responds coming back from that torn quadriceps.
Chris Davis with a fly ball into right, backing Jason Hayward up. Now he'll come in a few steps and makes the catch. Thank you, Pat. So Davis is out number 1 for Carlos Martinez. And a reminder, we have our data fan of the game and our picture of the game. Data strong fan of the game using the hashtag MW Data Strong Fan, presented by T-Mobile. To finish the story on Matt Garza, as you get a look at Domingo Santana. Garza, in his last start, went 4 2/3. He left trailing 5-0. His ERA stood at 5.63. The club approached him and said they'd like him to go to the bullpen. He said, I'm not doing that. So he refuses to go to the pen, and his season is through. The interesting part about this is that he has 2 years and a guaranteed $25 million left on his deal. So they wanted to go with young starters, chance to see what they could do. Garza refuses the assignment to the bullpen, so his season is through.
And that's about 180 difference than what the veteran Kyle Loesch did. As they describe Kyle Loesch, you see the strikeout for Martinez, number 2. Kyle Loesch, they said, is nothing but a professional. A tough season. They asked him to go to the bullpen. Went down there, and they said with all the young arms down in the Milwaukee bullpen, they said Loesch is so valuable down there trying to teach these kids what it's like to be a big leaguer on and off the field and just how to handle things. So that's the difference between one pro and someone that's thinking of themselves.
And Garza frustrated in the fact, too, that if he reached 30 starts, he would receive a $500,000 bonus if he got to number 30. And currently he is at 26, but his season is done. Here's Gene Segura. He's hit .340 against the Cardinals this year. Fights it off, and a foul ball, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Segura also swinging a hot bat this month at .358.
The Brewers, they lost the last 3 games in Pittsburgh, but they've got a 4-game winning streak here at home.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Carlos Martinez, and 3 so far tonight. hits tonight. You're invited into Krispy Kreme tomorrow to receive a dozen of their original glazed donuts for only $3.99. Stop by one of the 4 St. Louis area Krispy Kreme locations for this sensational deal. You just wonder if the Cardinals would be taking a little bit more here tonight, understanding the control issues from this right-hander, but he's been around the plate an awful lot early on. We'll see if that trend continues. Third inning rolls in, and Jay on the first pitch may have chased the ball, and it's popped foul out of play. His first 2-hit game since May 1st came on Sunday as the Cardinals salvaged a game against the Reds. The shade him the other way, big gap in right center. 0-1 pitch. Lined into center field. Santana going back and makes the catch. Spun around and makes the play. Six is a serious number, and on the run when the Cardinals score 6. Any size drink just 50 cents the next day. That's coffee, fountain, frozen drinks. When they score, you pour. At your nearest on the run. You earned it.
Saw Santana a little uncomfortable in that line drive off the bat of Jay. He's a corner outfielder, but he's got an opening now. He was one of 4 prospects that they got in the Carlos Gomez deal to the Astros. Corner outfielder, but with Chris Davis and Braun solidifying left and right, we're going to see if the youngster can play center field.
Not only Carlos Gomez, but Mike Fiers was part of that deal
also,
too.
Yeah. No hitter.
Yeah. Carlos Martinez is hitting 140 this year. No homers, no RBIs, 5 sacrifices this season. 7 for 57. The 0-2. Again, this right-hander, a hard thrower. Pretty much a 2-pitch pitcher. Occasionally will show that changeup, but it's rare. And the Brewers anticipate 3 or 4 more coming up from the minor leagues. They have a Southern League championship team, and they're trying to restock their farm system, get some of their prospects back if they can, or at least guys in deals that could potentially be major leaguers. They do not have a general manager set in stone for next year. Doug Melvin has 1 year left on his deal, and he wants to ease that transition, and that's drilled into left center field. An absolute rocket off the wall as Martinez winds up at second base, and the Cardinals have their second double tonight. Hayward and now Martinez.
Yeah, just a rocket right there. How about Craig Counsell? He's in fine shape for next year, but Melvin is going to step aside, and he'll be in a consulting position. But watch this. Drops that bat head and rifles this one out in the left center, and it goes right off the wall. So he had a double. He was pulling up with that and congratulating himself.
As do all the pitchers once they get the hit.
But I was talking with people around here. They say Counsell's did an outstanding job, and ownership says the new general manager will have to get along with Craig Counsell.
And remember, Craig Counsell was in the front office for Milwaukee after they asked him to take off the suit and put on a uniform and get back in uniform in the dugout. First time manager, takes over for Ron Renneke.
He's managing his hometown.
Matt Carpenter hitting .343 with runners in scoring position. Make a case that Carlos Martinez has the best at bat of the night for the Cardinals so far in the first 9.
His and Hayward by far the 2 best hit balls. Both had the result of a double. Carpenter hit a line drive, but slim pickings in between.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. Fouled back, and a good cut by Carpenter. lined out to right, a sinking liner to start the game.
Upper leads the ball club in RBIs and home runs. Hitting .343 with runners in scoring position. But Cardinals doubtful they'll have a 90 RBI man this year.
And they will finish in the bottom 5 in the league in home runs. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Second strikeout. The Cubs came back in game 1 of their doubleheader, fell short to the Pirates as we get a look at the DirecTV Central standings. So with that win by Pittsburgh, they are 2 games back of St. Louis, could be a game back or maybe 3 out before it's all said and done. Chicago could be 6 or 8 before this night is through.
Chicago is leading the second game in Pittsburgh 2-0.
The check swing, and Piscotty did not go. He grounded out to short first time up.
That's a 4-game series in Pittsburgh, and then after that the Pirates go to Los Angeles. They'll get Greinke and Kershaw this weekend. Then you go to Colorado, which is never easy, and then they go into Chicago for another set.
Here's a 1-0. 1 ball, 1 strike on Piscotty. 6-game hitting streak is on the line tonight. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Now it's 1-2.
I think in many ways we're seeing a much better slider than what the players were anticipating.
Here's a 1-2. Ooh, just missed. As you mentioned, he comes over from Los Angeles, the Angels, 2012 trade of Zach Greinke. Gene Segura, really the star of that deal. Johnny Helwig is recovering from Tommy John surgery for the Brewers, and now Pena, having made his major league debut in his last start. But you're right. You think about what the Pirates have to do, and it's Greinke and Kershaw coming up. Tough series. They'll finish up with 2 more games after tonight with the Cubs. Great time of year, scoreboard watching and have a little fun.
Absolutely.
2-2. Spoiled by Piscotty. And Al, it's not just the NL Central, but look over in the American League West and what's happening right now.
Yeah. Houston, who had that big commanding lead all season long, now finds himself ahead of Texas by a half game. And you just have to believe Texas, who's had a lot of experience, postseason, and not all of it good experience, but
Piscotty strikes out. 2 in the inning, 3 tonight for Pena. He gets Steven to chase. The Cardinals are 0 for 3 with runners in scoring position tonight. Midway through 3, and there's no score.
League this year. Bryce Harper, 351. He's 2 for 2 with a home run tonight. His teammate, Yanel Escobar, Adam Lind, who's at first base tonight for Milwaukee, and center fielder and MVP candidate Andrew McCutchen of Pittsburgh. Use the promo code CARDS, DraftKings.com. Martin Maldonado, Ariel Pena, and Scooter Gennett, 8, 9, and 1 for Milwaukee as Carlos Martinez heads back to work. He has struck out 3 so far and allowed 1 base hit. Fastball is a strike at 97. Back on April 24th, it was the second start of the year for Martinez. Remember, he began in the bullpen, a bunch of off days early on in that first month of the season. And Carlos was very, very good. 7 shutout innings against the Brewers. As a matter of fact, in his young career, whether it be in the rotation or in the bullpen, 13 games, Brewers have hit just .218 against him. His ERA is barely over 1.
Well, the one other thing, remember we talked about how he keeps his team in a game. Carlos Martinez, he's looking for win number 14, but when he starts the game, the team is 20-6. And with Walker, it's 20-7. So, I mean, these young kids are giving their teammates a chance to win every time they get a starting assignment. And that's, you know, your individual wins is great, and that is a nice barometer. But giving your team a chance to win every time out is even better.
Maldonado, the start again tonight. Last 7 days, he's filled in for Jonathan Lucroy. He's dealing with concussion-like symptoms. But he's just 2 for his last 14, and been a tough year for him as well. He's hit 192 the entire season, and 197 against right-handed pitching, 5th lowest among everyday players or those that are close to being everyday players in the National League.
As far as what he does as a catcher, the team is very happy with him. You know, Maldonado over there, you see Lucroy, and imagine on that 7-day concussion list, and he's even called Mike Matheny, talking about advice or helping him along. There's going to be a few days more, so, you know, it'd be the worst thing to shut him down for the rest of the season.
I was thinking the same thing.
You know, maybe, you know, if he's able to play, say at times against clubs like the Cardinals or teams that are in it, you try to do that. But first and foremost is you want to make sure, you know, he's healthy for next year.
It's a foul ball off his mask, and he never felt right after that. Still doesn't. 3-2. Goodbye. 3 strikeouts in a row for Carlos Martinez, number 4 tonight. More than 440,000 Americans die each year from smoking-related illnesses, including cancer, heart disease, and stroke. 10,000 in Missouri alone. Call the Missouri Tobacco Quit line to quit now. 1-800-QUIT-NOW.
You're not telling Carlos to quit smoking, are you? His fastball.
He's humming it pretty good tonight.
Yes, he is. And, you know, there was so much made about, you know, Waka and Martinez getting the extra rest. And it didn't work that time through, but I still maintain that that's going to be a strong suit the rest of the way through. And these guys are going to have a little extra for the next couple weeks.
And he carves up Pena, looking for his first major league hit. That's 4 strikeouts in a row and 5 overall. They're 2 2/3 this far.
Hey, if you can get away with it, Yachty, do it. So he's going to the dugout thinking it's 3rd out.
Whoops.
You know, when Yachty does start doing it, makes everybody else kind of think, well, wait, did I miss something?
Right.
But,
I don't know if I've ever seen him do that.
No, that's what I'm saying. You know, but
here's Scooter Gennett. Well, just watching Martinez, last 4 hitters, really since his first pitch, he looks sharp here tonight. Ground ball hit to the right side, gobbled up there by Wong. And a 1-2-3 inning. That's 7 in a row set down by Martinez since the base hit by Braun. Looking sharp tonight, number 18 of the Cardinals, Carlos Martinez. Catches Maldonado on that 3-2. Pena finishes up his warm-up tosses to get set for the top of the fourth. You'd have to say easily the biggest off-season decision for the Brewers will be that next GM. A lot of people around the game talking about Dan Kantrovitz. And he was a part of the Cardinals organization. Now his second stint with the Oakland A's. They're going to go to an analytics-driven type look towards player development. Dan very good at that. He ran the draft. He's the one that drafted Michael Wacha, for instance, here with the St. Louis Cardinals. And the tie-in there, Dan graduated from Brown, and so did the owner of the Brewers. So there's a tie-in with those two. And some believe that points to Kantrovitz leading Milwaukee going into this offseason.
And Dan, it doesn't hurt with his successful run in the Cardinal organization, as so many people look at the Cardinals as the model of how to, you know, not only win at the major leagues, but how to develop and scout, develop at the minor league level.
They believe that's how you're going to have to win here in Milwaukee. You know, they
Sure.
took a flyer on Jeff Suppan and Kyle Loesch, Matt Garza, and they're looking now at St. Louis and Pittsburgh and Chicago, all restocked with good young talent in the minor leagues. And there's a leadoff walk to Jason Hayward. So leadoff walk, Hayward on board for the second time to go along with a double, and it brings in Johnny Peralta. Kia in the driver's seat. Highest career average at Miller Park. It's now at 395. Started tonight at 400. 8 career home runs against Milwaukee. All 8 have been here at Miller Park. It's the first walk issued by Pena. Let's see if the Cardinals want to do a little running.
I remember talking to Johnny earlier in the year about what is it about this ballpark, and he can't really tell you, but he says, I see the ball so well here. I love hitting in this ballpark, and the numbers reflect it.
Cardinals really need to get him going. There's no doubt about that. 41 extra base hits. When you look at what he's done this year, he's only got 4 in his last 34 games. That's it.
I was going to say, you know, he got 12 game-winning RBIs real quick, and has been sitting on 12 for a long time. That tied his career high with Cleveland a few years back, but you just thought he was going to just take off, and it's been a while since he's had a game-winning hit.
It's been a while since a home run as well. For Peralta, his last home run was August 1st. He's sitting on 16. The 1-1. Reaching for it and yanks it foul. He was robbed his first time up with a backhanded play by Elian Herrera that took a hit, probably a double, and certainly an RBI away back in the first. Hayward with 21 stolen bases, standing at first base. Maldonado, a very good defensive catcher. He's caught 14 in 39 attempts against him. That's 36%. One ball and 2 strikes on Johnny Peralta. Leadoff walk for Jason Hayward. Matt Adams is on deck. The 1-2. You think about the lack of home runs here for Peralta, 1 since August 1st, as I mentioned, but still 3rd among all shortstops with 16. It's grounded, though, into 21 double plays. That's always of concern, and maybe why you want to start Hayward. Second most in the National League. There goes Hayward. He is running, pitches low, throw down to second, and save. Somehow Hayward avoids that tag as the throw beat him. You saw a quick tag put down by Scooter Gennett, but a head Heads-up play there by Hayward to avoid it. Stole a base, number 22.
Before replay, that would have been an out just because he's in the vicinity. Throw beats him. But with replay today, the umpire has to hold and see if he makes a tag. And obviously, he didn't get the tag down. Goes straight down, but look at how he takes a left arm. He avoids the tag and then catches the base, but he never loses contact with second base. Goes to put it there. He goes away. The right hand is on the base. And a good call by Marty Foster.
Maldonado went out to visit with Pena to try to give the Brewers more time to take a longer look to see if they do want to review this, and the answer is no. So Hayward now 10th in the National League in steals with his 22nd.
That's 22 out of 25 too. Good percentage. Now let Johnny drive him in for that game-winning RBI that's been elusive.
Here's a 3-2 pitch. Sitting on 16 home runs. Ground ball hit left side. Hayward, good base running. Aggressive. Sometimes you'll see guys hesitate that brief bit, and that costs them running from second to third, but no hesitation there from Jason Hayward.
The real rule of thumb is, you know, if a ball's hit in front of you, you don't advance. But when a ball is hit so softly, you will advance. But you're right, Danny, just the whole thing about put his head down, he took off, and he slid in there, which is another good sign. It may be a throw, so go in there most aggressively into the bag, sliding right there. He only had the one play, and that was at first.
Infield drawn in. Adams takes a pitch down. Just wonder, watching him take that pitch inside, how comfortable he really is with that leg. Here's a 1-0.
I think you're comfortable until you do an abnormal movement, and that kind of was.
Yeah.
Pitch inside off the plate. You kind of wanting to jump away, but you're trying to not move so quickly, and you could do some damage.
The 2-0 pitch. Good cut. Inning started with a walk to Hayward. Then his 22nd steal of the season, which is a new career high for him, single season. Peralta advancing Hayward at third on a ground out to short. Now 2 balls, 1 strike on Matt Adams. The 2-1 pitch. 3-1. Molina on deck. Taken high and 2 walks in the inning. Cardinals and McDonald's teaming up to bring fans an extra value deal that can't be beat. Fans can purchase tickets for just $5 each to the Red Series September 21st, 22nd, 23rd. And those tickets are on sale right now. Cardinals.com/McDonald's. $5 tickets. 2 walks in the inning. Runners at the corners. And a chance for Yadier Molina to put the Cardinals on top. Molina has grounded into 16 double plays this year. Strike 1. First time up, grounded out to second.
Setting him up, and it's going to get a base hit to the right field.
A .270 this year with runners in scoring position. And the 0-1 pitch. That's what he's trying to do. Just
see, holding on. Lynn's holding on. Adams at first base. Scooter Jeanette, second baseman, playing up the middle. And he's just trying to go for that vacated hole, something that he does so well. Remember, he was doing that in that series against the Giants, and then they made 2 pitches inside where he was aware of those and just turned on him and hit 2 of his home runs, his last 2.
Upstairs to Molina. Wong is on deck. Already the 6th plate appearance for the Cardinals with a man in scoring position. Nothing to show for it yet. Big gap in left center. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the next 2, Yadier Molina. On its way. 4 strikeouts for Pena. The Cardinals will need a 2-out hit from Colton Wong. Well, Colton Wong leads the Cardinals with 25 2-out RBIs. They need him to come through here. Runners at first and third, 2 down. Scoreless game here in the top of the 4th. He's 0 for 1, popped out to the catcher Maldonado. Like Molina, Wong hitting .270 with runners in scoring position. The 1-0 pitch. 2 balls, no strikes. Time is called. John Jay on deck. This may be more indicative of what we were anticipating from Pena.
Yeah, I think so. And not to say that, it's not going to start happening, because remember, it's only his 2nd start. Last time out he went 5. I don't know how much they're going to expect him. Could expect him to go beyond 6 anyway. So maybe these last couple innings he'll get a little careless.
Will he jump on this 2-0 pitch? Inside, 3-0. Colton Wong here in the 2nd half hitting .238, only 2 home runs. Would you turn him loose? Try to get him going a little bit.
I think you always turn guys loose. You just ask them to be disciplined. If they see something to their liking, they have the ability to swing.
The 3-0. Looks at ball 4, 3 walks in the inning. They start to stretch now in that Brewers bullpen, which features 7 right-handers and 2 lefties.
Yeah, you might not have the luxury. They also have so many arms down there and trying to find question marks, answers to question marks. So you may go to that bullpen a lot quicker than you might otherwise think. But John Jay obviously is the key at bat here with Martinez on deck.
Bases loaded, 2 outs. First pitch to Jay. Strike 1. Lined out to center his first time up. 3 walks in the inning, a strikeout and a ground out. Jay trying to give the Cardinals the first lead in this game. The 0-1.
And getting underneath some of these pitches now, and they're starting to sit there.
Big gap again in right center for Jay. The 1-1. Ground ball sharply hit to first. There's Adam Lynn. Cardinals strand the bases loaded. No score from Miller Park. Carlos Martinez, outstanding so far here tonight. Set down 7 in a row. He has struck out 5, including 4 the last 5 he's seen. The fastball has been lively here tonight. The AT&T U-verse rewind. Herrera, Braun, and Lind due up for Milwaukee, 2, 3, and 4, as the first pitch is taken just a bit low. This is a Brewers team that has dropped 6 of the last 8, including 3 in a row. That was against Pittsburgh. Boy, the Cardinals again. Another missed opportunity with Molina up, runner at third, only 1 out. Then the base is loaded, 2 outs, and they do not score.
Cardinals were in that losing streak. They weren't getting good starting pitching, and
this is lined out to left field. On the move is Piscotty, and oh, he came up with it. Tremendous catch, Stephen Piscotty in left field. That ball was by him when he made that catch.
I wonder why you think that's such an accomplishment. He's an aeronautical engineer. He knew that where he had to dive behind to get that ball in the air. It all made sense for the Stanford graduate. But what a nice play that was at a key time. Now you strand the bases loaded, and now you need a nice defensive play to kind of keep that momentum back on your side, or at least take it away from the Brewers.
Mike Matheny telling us that they feel Piscotty is more comfortable and looks better in left field than right field, which is the position that he's typically played in the minor leagues, and he does have an arm that suits right field, but they love his jumps in left, and we just saw why.
Yeah, and I think it would go back to the fact that in college he was a third baseman, so he's used to seeing the ball coming off the bat, you know, third base, the left field side, but it is a bit odd with all the playing time he's had in right field. And I think Mike also tell you he's pretty comfortable when he's got him out in right field, but when Hayward's healthy, you know, that's his position.
What a play. Stephen Piscotty, 0-2 here on Ryan Braun.
He's such a even keel temperament. He's got a chance to be a pretty good one for a long time, doesn't he?
He's had that look of even keel and just not being overwhelmed since the day he got up to the big leagues.
And you know, Billy Miller and John Mabry noted that as a hitter, he'll make very quick adjustments. You know, once again, the analytical mind that he knows what teams are trying to, he'll figure out what teams are trying to do to him, how to combat it, even when you have a bad wild swing like he did his last time up. He'll figure it out.
Strikeout number 6 for Carlos Martinez. Let's check in with Pat.
Dan, I had Adam Wainwright as a guest live on the pregame show, and Adam today through another bullpen session, and it was an interesting sight because all the other starters were gathered around. It was almost like he was going to be making a start in 2 or 3 days. Obviously he's not. He continues to come back from that Achilles injury, and there's no real update on when that might happen, if it might happen this season. He's optimistic that he's going to try as hard as he can to get back at some point this season, and if it doesn't work out this year, then he'll be ready for next year. You know, it's an interesting thing with Adam Wainwright because he's such a cheerleader at the same time, and so such a leader of this ball club, and so great to have him on the road trip. And he talks about how great it is for him to be on the road trip. He really feels like part of the team again when you get out on the road. And Al, you know this, if you're sitting back at home when the team's out on the road, you don't feel much like part of the team, but Adam feels like a big part of the team right now.
He's a bigger part of the team than what he realizes, and you know, his presence is when he's even away, his teammates feel it. But you know, he made Mike Matheny in Cincinnati, made Mike Matheny come down and watch him throw one of those bullpen sessions, and you know, it's just a win-win situation for the Cardinals. It's doubtful. We wouldn't want anybody to think that, you know, that there'd be time for Adam Wainwright to get into a starter's shape. But remember, it was 2006 when they closed out a World Series, you know, striking out Beltran. So either way, he's right. It's a great start for next spring, or he can have some kind of impact, and it is an inspiration for all of his teammates.
I look at it this way. I didn't expect Adams back. I didn't expect Holiday back. I don't expect Wainwright back, but I don't close the door on it either. We just don't know.
Oh, that's the fun thing you can do with it. And in the meantime, he's having fun with it.
Center field and John Jay. Incredible play by Stephen Piscotty in left field. He's due up third as we head to the fifth. One of the top plays we've seen from the young man and the graduate of Stanford. Nicely done. Carlos loved it. No score. The dynamic duo of Jim and Jim on the postgame. I'm sure they'll break down that catch. Stephen Piscotty with one of the greatest defensive outfielders ever in Jim Edmonds. Here's Carlos Martinez, 1 ball, 1 strike. Chicago, bottom of the 7th, leading Pittsburgh 2-1. Texas leading Houston 4-3. The Rangers, as Al mentioned before, a half game back of Houston. Back on July 29th, the Rangers were 8 games behind the leader in that division. Now they trail by just a half game. Three-2 pitch to Martinez, who is doubled tonight. Hits it sharply up the middle. There's Segura to his left, and he gets the speedy Martinez. What a play. Gene Segura, and we know that Martinez can run, and so did Segura, and he comes up with a beauty.
That's that ability to dive for a ball, pop up, and throw somebody out. You mentioned earlier what a good arm he has. He needed every bit of it to throw out Martinez hustling down that line. Like a sure hit. Look how quick he pops up, and then he fires a BB over to first.
The new GM will have to decide what to do with guys like Segura, Lucroy, Lynn, maybe even a Ryan Braun. Do you keep him here or try to move him? A lot of decisions coming up. Here's Carpenter, who struck out with a man at second base and only 1 out in the 3rd. Hit a sinking liner that was caught by Braun in right his first time up.
Just think how lucky that Milwaukee was that K-Rod couldn't find any takers, and so he came back to the Milwaukee. And they didn't think they had a chance to retain him as a free agent last year.
Fell in their lap.
Yeah.
It's been surprising this year, the strikeouts for Carpenter. He's now at 134 and 132 hits. 2-1 the count.
He's got the career high 21 home runs. He leads the club with his 73 RBIs, but you're absolutely right. When you talk about, when he was approaching 100, I was shocked, but to be where he is, but he is producing.
And a fly ball. Lifted into shallow left. Chris Davis. 2 down. That brings in Stephen Piscotty. With all these guys coming back, I'm not sure how you would sit Stephen Piscotty. The constant over the last month and a half has been this young man who's put up great numbers so far.
I'll think about that, and then think about Randall Grichuk.
Yep.
You know, the impact that he's made with the ball club. So
I talked with Randall today. There's Piscotty in rare territory since 1914 in this kind of start. Last to do it, Albert Pujols. Randall is throwing from 90 feet. Did that again today. He'll throw from over 100 feet probably on Thursday, and you may see him in the outfield over the weekend, if not sooner.
I talked to him today also, and got the impression that if he were to end up in the outfield prior to that time, you know, we're probably not going to see that little flip to the center fielder. He'll be able to get it back into a cutoff man that goes way out.
Piscotty puts it in play, and it's tapped foul.
Piscotty with a 6-game hitting streak, hit 348 during that time. Hayward on deck. He's over 500 with his 6-game hitting streak. See if he can't do some damage here, even with 2 outs.
Detroit in the bottom of the third, leading Minnesota. Key game in the wild card race. Minnesota game back as Piscotty strikes out. That's 5 tonight for Pena. Gene Segura, tremendous arm, and he understood the speed of Carlos Martinez. Quickly up, and a strike to first. No score midway through 5. JC Healthcare difference maker. Take it even further, the Cardinals 25-10 at Miller Park. In their last 35, they've won 8 of 12 this season overall against Milwaukee. And included tonight, 7 remain between these two teams. Martinez is really settled in. He has sent down 10 in a row. The Cardinals did not have a base hit since back in the 3rd. They only have 2 hits tonight. And the Brewers with just 1 hit. That was Ryan Braun with a base hit to right in the 1st inning.
Davis has 20 home runs. He hit 10 home runs in the first 24 games of August. Became the 26th Brewer to have a double-digit home runs in the calendar month.
He was the Brewers Player of the Month for August with those 10 home runs. Drove in 24. Gets a breaking ball there. Fly to right his first time up. 0-2 the count. This is second consecutive 20 home run season, and the Brewers weren't sure what they had in him until Ryan Braun was suspended a couple years ago.
Yeah, and then he got the playing time that he needed and showed what he could do.
In the air out to deep center field. Shea is back at the wall, and it's 1-0 Milwaukee. That is the first home run that Carlos Martinez has ever allowed to a batter of the Milwaukee Brewers.
Only the 13th home run he's allowed this season, and it made him earn it. It was all the way to dead center field. Look at Molina wanted that ball away. It's middle, and up. Took it back up central. John Jay went back, but that ball was off the batter's eye club, or the backdrop out there. And they had plenty of room to spare.
What frustrates you is that it not only is a home run to give them a lead, but it comes on an 0-2 pitch. Domingo Santana, as we mentioned earlier, part of the Carlos Gomez Mike Fiers deal. Appeared in 14 games with Houston this season. Hit a couple of home runs. And Martinez comes back to strike out the next man after the home run, and then 7 tonight for Carlos Martinez.
Also notice Domingo was player to be named later in the Hunter Pence deal. That's how he first got to Houston.
There's Gene Segura. Fastball at 99. And a strike at the knees. Up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Stay within yourself.
And a ground ball slowly hit to the right side. There's Wong, and he'll underhand it to Adams. 2 down. Our What's on Tap is presented by Budweiser. Will come your way tomorrow at 6:30. Garcia against Willie Peralta. Garcia 2 starts against Milwaukee this year and a .64 ERA. John Lackey, Jimmy Nelson going in game 3. Lackey 3 starts, ERA that's under 3 against Milwaukee. That pitch is hit out of play, and again a pitch at 99.
As I said, stay within yourself. Just remember when early in the year they got him to go with a little less velocity for better control and better command.
0-2.
And I still find a stat very hard to believe that with that high octane fastball that, you know, it's well over 300 when opponents hit against it.
Ground ball. Wong. A solo home run on Chris Davis. An 0-2 pitch from Carlos Martinez. Home run number 21, RBI number 55. Cardinals have to come from behind again. Will they do it? We get to the 6th. season. MLB.com at bat now. The Cardinals trying to pick up win number 90 here tonight. Of their 89 wins, 36. That's a very high number. 36 have been come from behind wins, and they'll try to do that again tonight. Hayward with a double back in the first inning. His 31st this year. That's second on the team to Matt Carpenter's 35. Walked in, stole a base in the fourth, was left stranded. That stolen base, a career high in a single season, number 22 for Hayward. Takes a pitch low.
Bullpen is active for Milwaukee, so it's gone 5 innings. We'll see how much further he can go.
1-0 pitch. Hayward rips it into right. Braun is back, and that's off the wall. This will be a close play at second base. Hayward is in there safely. His second double, number 32.
It's 4 multi-hit games in a row that he's had, and it's 4 doubles in the last 2 games. Perfect today. A double in the first, a walk, a stolen base in the fourth, and a double here to lead off the 6th. So see if Johnny Peralta can't get something going, tie this game up, and maybe give the lead.
I think you'd have to say, Al, that Pena has got Peralta here. I don't think anybody would be surprised if they went with a lefty to face Matt Adams, but then do the Cardinals counter with somebody off their bench.
Looks like they only have a right-hander warming up. Moot point. But that's the matchups. You can just play them all night with expanded rosters.
That's the point, yeah. First pitch is strike to Peralta, who is 0 for 2. He was robbed back in the first inning by Elian Herrera that took a hit and an RBI away. Oh, 1 pitch. Peralta, base hit into left. Here comes Hayward. Oquendo will wave him home, and this game is tied at 1. Johnny Peralta with a base hit. RBI number 61. And this game is tied at 1.
Well, we said Johnny Peralta loves hitting in this ballpark. Took him a couple of bats, but finally got a hit. Drives in the Hayward and the first Cardinal run. We have a tie ball game. Pitch down and away, better piece of hitting. And you get Chris Davis, who doesn't have a strong arm, but you get him moving to his left. Right-handed thrower has no chance of throwing out Hayward. So Kendall very aggressive all the time. He knew why and how to send him.
So Craig Counsell will go to his pen, and Pena is done after pitching into the 6th. 1-1 game. The UFC face off as coaches as interim featherweight champions Conor McGregor and Uriah Faber join the all-new season of The Ultimate Fighter. The mayhem continues Wednesday only on Fox Sports 1. Corey Knebel, or Chevy, called to the pen. There's a look at his numbers this year. He last pitched Saturday at Pittsburgh, a perfect 8th inning. His 49 strikeouts, and he's done that in 44 innings this year. This is his second stint with the Milwaukee Brewers. He was acquired from Detroit last year. This is our Hyundai pitch arsenal. Four-seam fastball, the curveball, and rarely, if ever, the changeup. So Knebel will get Adams here. Runner at first is Peralta that knocks out Pena, goes 5+, 4 hits, struck out 5, walked 3, and those 3 walks all in 1 inning.
Knebel was attended University of Texas, where he was the closer for 3 years.
Lefty's only hitting .211 against him this season as Adams pulls it foul. Matt tonight. There's a barehanded play there by Adam Lynn. Adams has struck out on a check swing in the 2nd inning and also walked in the 4th. "91 games he was not in the starting lineup. Activated last Wednesday, the torn right quadricep. It's the first time in the starting lineup this evening, for the first time in 4 months.
Pinch hit in Cincinnati, and then Sunday hit a 2-run home run as a pinch hitter.
And the 0-2.
Knebel was selected by Detroit in the first-year player draft. Then he was acquired by Texas along with Jake Thompson in the Soria deal. And then he was part of the return for Gallardo going to Texas.
1-2 is hit out of play. You notice the average .211 against the lefties. They say with that four-seam fastball, he's really able to get in on the lefties. It has been used in many spots in lefty-lefty matchups where you think he'd go to the bullpen and bring in that lefty. Well, Knebel fits that role as well. Here's a 1-2 pitch. Instead, a check on Johnny Peralta, who has just 1 stolen base this year. That home run was part of a 5-run 8th for the Cardinals on Sunday. They'd like to tack on another run here. It's bounced, and Maldonado keeps that in front. The 2-2 pitch to Matt Adams. Ripped, and it's a double play. Lind holding the runner, so he's right by the bag, and that turns into a double play.
Nothing Peralta could do right there. Just a BB. Actually, it looked like a foul ball, but he spears it and then steps on the bag in one motion for the double play. Smile.
Yadier Molina. Molina tonight is grounded out and struck out. He had runners at first and third, 1 out, and could not deliver. That's hit down the right field line, sinking and foul. Top of the 9th, and the Cubs have a 2-1 lead over the Pirates in Game 2 of their doubleheader. Pirates took Game 1.
Knebel looks so much bigger than 6'4", 210, doesn't he?
One ball and 2 strikes. As is the case many times when you come to Milwaukee, a lot of Cardinal fans and some of the red there in the seats. The 1-2. Strikeout of Molina. The Cardinals collectively have struck out 6 times. They tied it up thanks to Peralta. He drives in Hayward. Defensively for the Cardinals, they have been really pleased with the way that he has played the first base bag. Former Brewer, Peterson, Jeanette, and Herrera due up here in the bottom of the 6th. And defense has been part of the story here tonight. That was in the first inning by Herrera, robbing Johnny Peralta of a base hit and an RBI. In the 4th, Steven Piscotty, one of the top plays we've seen from him this year. Gene Segura to his left and right has been all over the place. That pitch is taken for a ball, and Martinez has been really good here tonight. Shane Peterson was in the Cardinals system. It took him a while to get to the big leagues, but here he is, and no pinch hit for the pitcher. Knebel. And the 3 outs in the 6th, and relief of Ariel Pena. 3-0.
Peterson had a little revenge against the Cardinals we saw him first time around or earlier this year. He was 4 for 13, 308 average during that time.
And a leadoff walk. A couple of those pitches very close, and you can see the frustration on the face of Carlos Martinez. So a leadoff walk, and here's Scooter Gennett, 0 for 2 tonight. Martinez has allowed just 2 hits. He has struck out 7, and that's his first walk he's allowed. grounded out to first, grounded out to second. Tapped out in front of the plate. Molina to second base. No, not in time. Took a chance. And now the Brewers have runners at first and second.
Well, a good lesson there for young players is to hustle all the way. Yachty, one of the strongest throwing arms. He took a chance. Rarely will he come up empty. And that's the case here. But Shane Peterson was hustling all the way. So even this ball, just a couple inches out in front of the plate, the throw's too late. And then no return throw as Scooter Gennett was hustling down the first base bag.
Well, that decision proved costly here. Elian Herrera, the switch hitter, asked to bunt. And it's a beauty. Martinez off balance. Oh, what a play! Carlos Martinez. Remarkable play. Off balance and throws a strike to Colton Wong.
99.9% of the time you'll put your head down and say, oh no, don't throw it away. Put it in your pocket. And in this case, he was well across the foul line, backpedaling towards the Cardinal dugout and fires a strike to first base and gets the batter out. Remarkable play right there.
Seeing him go for that, I thought, well, that's down the right field line.
Oh, yeah, you're going to throw it away? You know, it's like all kinds of things. But
what an unbelievable play.
99.9, you're better off to put that ball in your pocket. But that was the one exception, and it paid off. Both runners do advance. They're both the second and third, one out. But Yachty's going to first, but wow, when you're this far, and look at, he's across the line before he even thinks about or is in position to throw. Totally off balance, jumps up in the air, has nothing behind you, but that shows you the arm strength.
And Herrera can run.
And he's running.
They will intentionally walk Ryan Braun, who's hitting .357 with runners in scoring position, and deal with Adam Lind. This is where these teams like Cincinnati and Milwaukee can get you. The middle of their lineup has got some pop. And you can't overlook guys like a Votto and a Jay Bruce. And in this case, the middle of this lineup with Braun, Lind, and Davis, who is homered tonight.
And you're right. You got some pretty good professional hitters. And the real key here is going to be Adam Lind coming up here. It into 19 double plays.
You know, also something else to think about is Adam Lind is crushed right-handed pitching. He is 2 for 19 against Randy Choate, and Choate was not ready. He was not up and throwing.
Well, I can understand that. I mean, this has happened so quickly, and I still have faith in Martinez over, but as you say, you get into extra, or not extra innings, but this type of year, everything is magnified, and even if it's earlier than you normally would go to a left-handed specialist, you have to be ready for it.
Here's a 1-0. That pitch at 98.
Man has had a very good year. 287, 19 home runs, 81 RBIs. For a big guy that swings, had just 85 strikeouts.
You know, you just think about what Lind has done against right-handed pitching. Over 300, 338 here at home. 2 for 19 against Choate.
Also an experienced hitter that you fall behind the count. You make it all the more tough on yourself.
The 2-1 pitch to Adam Lind.
Like what Carlos just did right there. Showed very little emotion, but he just sit there and took a little spin, a little time. He's got a tough task right now on a 3-1 count.
I mean, I know Braun's got great numbers, but to load him up for Lind, I don't know. 3-1 pitch. Ground ball. It's fair. Steps on the bag. The tag, and it's a double play. The Cardinals do get the double play. Reynolds steps on the bag. The tag had to be applied by Molina, and the Cardinals get the double play. They are out of the jam. Defense, the story on both sides tonight. This play, none bigger for the Cardinals as they turn 2. And Martinez out of the jam. Peterson trying to score. The tag applied. We're tied 1-1. Let's go to our studio and a Barbarito Sports Update with Jim Hayes. Jimmy. So a win here tonight that would push Pittsburgh to 3 games out. Well, we wondered about the move. Would it pay off? And it did. As Reynolds stayed in fair territory, stepped on the bag, and a strike to home plate for the double play.
And then, like you said, you've got to tag the runner. Force is no longer there. No high throws. You got to get down. He's in front of the plate, and he gets Shane Peterson ahead of him touching home plate. What a play there. We've had some good defense now. It's time to see some Cardinal offense.
Will Smith, our Chevy, called to the pen.
A lot of strikeouts for lefty veteran.
And a strike to Colton Wong.
And we still got your left-handed specialist, Randy Schote. And I would think the next time around, maybe would see, see him being used in a situation like that.
This is our Honda home run inning. The Cardinals hit a home run. The Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. 0-2 the count on Colton Wong. John Jay on deck, and then Martinez spot. As we look out to the Cardinals bullpen, no one throwing for St. Louis. Game started by Pena, pitched into the 6th, gave up a run, 4 hits, struck out 5. Knebel came in with a man at first, nobody out in the 6th, got the final 3 outs, no damage done, and now Will Smith. Here's a 1-2. Breaking ball, and that's pulled foul. Wong has popped out to the catcher and walked with 1 out, which loaded the bases up for John Jay, who grounded out back in the 4th. Adam Lind this year with runners in scoring position, 6 home runs, 60 RBIs, hitting .353. Dangerous move, but hey, it paid off.
Well, even when you give those numbers, still 6.5% of the time the guy's going to fail. And think about the 3-1 count, make it even tougher. I wonder how close that ball was being fouled.
Ground ball to the right side, and a leadoff base hit for Colton Wong.
Breaking ball, and boy, he really hacked down on that pitch and pulled it through the right side. Tough assignment. John Jay, remember last year, he was the only Cardinal hit over 300, and he had very good numbers against left-handed pitching.
Now time is called. You know, if you get a man in scoring position, then do you pinch hit for Martinez, who has been terrific here tonight? At this point, nobody up and throwing in the Cardinals' pen.
Well, you know, I was thinking about that also, Dan, because remember the Cardinals were saying, okay, we can't give these guys a lot of extra rest. That didn't really work, but we can, you know, get them into situations where maybe we'll save them an inning or 2. But now with such a tight pennant race, you kind of go with your gut. And if you think Martinez, he's throwing well, you know, if you might extend him longer than what you may have in last week been your semi-plan A.
There's no doubt he's been great here tonight.
Yes, he is.
2 hits. He struck out 7.
Remember the base hit, the double he hit, the defensive play he made last inning.
Wong, a very big lead at first base. One thing you think about here too, Al, is that you would figure John Jay is going to get a lot of breaking balls. Might make your decision to send Wong a little easier to go on a breaking ball.
I thought he was going on that last pitch, but when he lifted his leg straight up, it froze Wong, had him going back to first base.
Not running, pitch in the dirt at the feet of Maldonado.
Remember also that, you know, Hayward stole his 21st base. Your second base stealer is Colton Wong. Looks like Smith is not real fast to the plate. So if you can kind of find the key to his delivery to where he has to go to the plate and get that good jump, I think it's all up to Colton Wong to steal.
The 2-1 pitch. Taken low. There have been 6 attempts against Smith when he's on the mound. They've only caught 1.
Yeah, you can tell he's very slow and deliberate, but what he tries to do to combat the base stealer is he'll lift that right leg straight up, and that means he hasn't broken the plane, so he can go to first.
Double play ball. 6-4-3 on the double play.
I still kind of feel that if Colton Wong had the comfort level, you know, he was allowed to steal there. He never got comfortable with his jump, and then John Jay hits the ball into a double play.
So back-to-back innings, the Brewers have turned 2. And Martinez up for the 3rd time. He is doubled off the wall in left center and then was robbed by Segura back in the 5th. He's had some of the better at-bats by the Cardinals tonight.
Still always get scared every time I see him swing that he's going to pull a muscle.
Can't think that way.
Oh, I know. He
can't think that.
He's wiry, and he
takes a pretty good cut.
He's limber.
Tried to bunt his way on, and now there's 2 strikes.
I enjoy watching everything he does. I mean, as a pitcher, he's got great electric stuff. But he's one of those guys that truly has fun going to the ballpark the day he doesn't pitch. And he's one of the biggest cheerleaders when he's on that bench.
0-2 pitch. And a strikeout of Martinez. Time to stretch. 1-1. Our score, Carlos Martinez has allowed just 2 base hits. That's it. He struck out 7, also has a double. Hayward, a couple of doubles. Take a look at this last swing. Not very comfortable here from Carlos Martinez.
And watch how long it takes him to get up. Carlos, you didn't have to prove to me why I worry about you.
The first pitch to the backstop, and here's Chris Davis. And away we go in the home half of the 7th. The Cardinals turn a double play. Pitching around Ryan Braun, intentionally walking him to bring up Adam Lind. With 1 out, double play was turned, and Davis lines it into left center. Piscotty cuts it off, and they'll hold him to a single. His 2nd hit tonight. Non-stop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2015 postseason beginning October 6th. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule.
Texas and Houston are tied in the top of the 5th. The winner of that one will go into first place. Or if Texas wins, they go into first place. They were trailing the front-running Houston Astros by quite a bit. Not that long ago, but they're a half game back going into today's action.
Cardinals would love to turn their second double play. Late on that swing, Santana. Only 88 pitches this far as Manus begins to throw in the pen. Santana has struck out twice. Made his major league debut with Houston a year ago. 14 games with the Astros this season. Al told you earlier, he was originally a member of the Phillies and was part of the Hunter Pence deal back in 2011. As the Phillies picked up Pence, Santana shipped to Houston, signed with the Phillies as a 16-year-old.
It's one of those players to be named later that you never hear of. It's a big kid. 6'5", and he hit 18 home runs with 77 RBIs at AAA.
Inside, that pitch at 95. 3-1 to count.
Santana got called to Milwaukee on August 21st and promptly hit a home run in his first game with the Brewers.
3-1. Give it a look, and it's out of play. 3-2 the count. See if they start the runner here. Davis with 5 steals this year. He is not running, and the pitch is swung on and missed. Strikeout number 8 tonight for Carlos Martinez, and 3 times he has gotten Santana. This is a 3-2, and he went with an off-speed pitch.
Good slider down and away. Sold it as a strike, and then the bottom fell out.
There's Gene Segura. The check on the runner. He may have put a hole in Reynolds' glove.
When you throw over, you got to throw with a little purpose, but I guess he could tie the laces there. And
it's about 99 coming over to Mark Reynolds. He's waving off the training staff.
How about the trainers in the minor leagues that learn how to relace those gloves? You can do it.
They do a little bit of everything.
Oh, a little bit of everything is right.
Good fastball at 98. Tell you what, this is as good as Martinez has been in over a month.
And this is where I think you see the benefit of that time. It wasn't, they had the 10 days off. It wasn't immediate after and now Reynolds will get his glove checked. Threw the ball and it must have broke some of the laces, and he thought he could retie it. So Matt Adams will say, you want mine? You want yours? But I think this is where you see that extra time. It didn't pay off that time around for Martinez, but it's kind of rejuvenated that arm, and I hope it just gives that the juice for the rest of the season and postseason.
Well, if you look at his last 5 starts, so basically over the last month, he hasn't pitched through the 6th. This could be 2. Peralta steps on the bag, and the second double play for the Cardinals' turn tonight. Martinez is through 7. We head to the 8th, tied up at 1. Host the Brewers. Fans purchasing the special Billikens Night theme ticket receive an exclusive St. Louis U themed blue and white Cardinals cap. Get your tickets today at cardinals.com/theme. Good ball game here tonight. We're tied at 1. Top of the lineup for the Cardinals. That means Carpenter, Piscotty, and Hayward. And a new pitcher is in, Jeremy Jeffress. He is a hard thrower. 65th appearance. That's our Chevy. Called to the pen. Logan Schaefer takes over in center field.
Jeffress, great pitch, good baseball of late. And his last outing was on Sunday in Pittsburgh, but he has a 1.06 ERA in his last 17 appearances. 2 earned runs during that time. This season he set highs in every pitching category.
You saw there that Santana shifts from center to left. And Davis out of the game.
It's okay with me, isn't it?
Yeah. And the first pitch to Matt Carpenter is taken for a ball in the dirt. Lined out to center, struck out and flied out. 0 for 3. Davis has homered tonight to account for the lone run for Milwaukee. Cardinals have an RBI single from Johnny Peralta. We're tied up at 1. Carpenter hits it out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. So again, as Jim gave us our update, Pirates dropped the second game of the doubleheader. The Cardinals win here, they would be 3 in front of Pittsburgh.
So let them keep on battling each other. Preferably, you'd almost want to see the Cubs win, and then we can take care of the Cubs when we play them. Pirates will go to LA. They'll get 2 aces, Rinke and Kershaw, over the weekend. And then after a trip to Colorado, the Pirates will end up their long road trip in Chicago again. So
Two balls, 2 strikes. Magic number of 6 over San Francisco for the Cardinals to clinch a postseason berth. Cardinals now just 1 win shy of their 3rd straight 90-win season. They've done that in 2001, and 2. Did it 6 straight seasons in the early 40s.
And the Pirates loss. The magic number of the Pirates for the Central Division is 17.
The Cardinals collectively tonight have struck out 8 times. Carpenter twice.
Just frozen right there. The Cardinals have been striking out a ton. Way too many and uncharacteristic.
Stephen Piscotty 0 for 3, trying to extend his hitting streak to 7 games. Jeffress is the 4th pitcher used by Milwaukee tonight. Pena, Knebel, Smith, and now Jeffress. Here's a 1-0. 97. Boy, time and again, you look at these relievers that come out of any pen, any given night, all are throwing hard.
I remember a few years ago, everybody was amazed at all the hard throwers coming out of the Cardinal bullpen. But now everybody in baseball has these high-octane arms.
Jeffress was a highly thought-of prospect for a number of years. Had some personal issues, sidetracked him a bit. And good to see him here in the big leagues, and he's had a solid year. .30. 3-1. Inside. 1-out walk. It brings in Hayward, swinging a very hot bat. See, he's been much better on the road as opposed to what he's done here at home. Thursday before the game, tune into the Cardinals Yearbook 2000. Looking back at that season. Cardinals Yearbook 2000, Thursday 5:30 on Fox Sports Midwest. Fourth walk that the Cardinals been given tonight. 3 came in 1 inning, and they did not score. That was in the 4th. Here's Hayward with a pair of doubles. Piscotty back in safely as a couple of steals this year. Andrelton Simmons walk-off hit as the Braves beat the Blue Jays in interleague play tonight. Of all teams, the Braves. Well, that's been a tough year for them.
I was going to say, don't take anybody for lightly, you know. Oof.
They've had a bad year. 1-0 pitch in the dirt, kept in front.
Well, remember, you know, in the wintertime, I mean, they had made some unusual deals and carried right through opening day or so, when they traded Kimbrel. But they got to that hot start, and everybody thought, well, maybe they know something we don't. But reality set in. The thought was, when they were getting rid of so many players, is they were kind of rebuilding for when they move into their new stadium in 2017 in the northern part of the city.
2-1 the count. You're wondering about steals against Jeffress, who's only been 2 attempts against him. Check that, 1 attempt against him, and it's a steal. Two and two.
Some of these relievers like Jeffress that really throw hard, and they have a very slow delivery. It's just everything trying to load up on the backside and come forward. So you can steal against them. It's all about getting a good jump.
2-2 the count. The next to Hayward. Bounce to short. Can they turn two? Hayward gets down the line and he's safe. They'll extend this 8th inning to Johnny Peralta as the only RBI for the Cardinals tonight.
Busy over there, but Segura had to take a couple steps to his right. Took the time to allow Hayward to get down the first base line.
Hayward did have a stolen base earlier, his 22nd. And now it's Peralta.
Peralta is 2 for 7 against Jeffers.
Johnny on the night, grounded out to third, grounded to short, then a base hit to left. Every plate appearance he's had a runner on. Fastball and a strike. No activity for the Cardinals in their pen. 8, 9, and 1 is due up for Milwaukee. One is hit out to right center field, and that ball is down. Hayward on his way to third. Ball was scorched off the bat of Peralta. 2-hit night for Johnny Peralta.
Schaefer is a good outfielder. He's out there in center field. That ball was hit so hard. He took a step to his right and then caught the ball on one hop, but Hayward knew he could get to third easily. Extends the inning, and now Reynolds, who came in after Matt Adams hit that line drive to double play to first base. Mark's first plate appearance. He got a base hit on Sunday that broke a long offer.
He's made a key defensive play tonight. Took over for Adams and turned an inning-ending double play. First pitch taken for a ball by the former Brewer. What looms large in this inning, Jason Hayward beating out potential inning-ending double play moments ago with his good speed.
And that's, you always got to hustle. You never know what it might lead to. And staying out of that double play is giving us this opportunity right now.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Mark Reynolds. Inside, 2 balls, no strikes. Molina on deck.
Reynolds was with Milwaukee last season. Only batted 196, but had 22 home runs, 45 RBIs, and just 378 at bats. We'd like to see a home run here.
The 2-0 pitch to Reynolds. Line drive into left center field, and the catch is made. The Cardinals strand 2. We are midway through 8. Schaefer with a catch in left center. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. Make a plan to make it home. And by Ford, the official cars and trucks of the St. Louis Cardinals. It is a 1-1 game. Maldonado, Schaefer, and Jeanette. 8-9-1 for Milwaukee as Martinez pitches into this 8th inning.
Seager is throwing in the Cardinal bullpen now. Activity for Milwaukee's pen also.
Carlos has struck out 8 tonight. He's allowed just 3 base hits in what has been a sensational outing for him.
Hopefully he'll have 8-9-1, very efficient inning, and his teammates can reward him with his 14th victory.
0-2 quickly on Maldonado.
Pitch down at 97.
And he did go. Strikeout number 9. As promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the night. Hashtag MW Data Strong fan. Martinez career high in strikeouts in one game, 11 back on June 5th of this year at Los Angeles. He went 7 innings that night. And he currently is at 9 strikeouts. Logan Schaefer, strike 1. He's still throwing hard. 97 on that pitch.
He's only allowed 3 hits, and 2 of them off the bat of Chris Davis, who they removed from this game.
Ground ball up the middle and a base hit. Schaefer is aboard. Scooter Jeanette will be the hitter. Hitless, 3 plate appearances tonight.
It's been a night of double plays, and see if they can't hit into their 3rd. The Cardinals have hit into 2.
And the Cardinals have turned 2 in the last 2 innings. Ended the 6th, ended the 7th. Will it end the 8th? One out, runner at first. That's Schaefer. Strike 1.
I think Schaefer had pretty good speed. You see that he has no stolen bases and no attempts this year.
Quickly, 2 strikes.
Boy, Yachty just setting up away, and Carlos just hitting him perfect.
It was an 0-2 pitch that Davis hit for a home run back in the 5th. And it's 0-2 here on Scooter Jeanette. Big gap in right center field. And a fly ball lifted into right. There's Hayward. Makes the catch.
Had him out in front on a changeup.
With the pitch count at 103, Martinez spot coming up in 4 spots in the Cardinals lineup. You just get the feeling this would be it for him.
Yeah. You know, Red Changes used to have a $50 fine for 0-2 base hits. And Gibson will say, well, how many credits do I get for 0-2 strikeouts? But I thought it was a really interesting conversation you and Tim McCarver had about some of the 0-2 hits now because of pitch counts. Maybe guys are trying to go right after instead of wasting the pitch.
I hadn't thought of that. I thought it was an interesting point.
I had not either, and I can see where there could be some validity to that.
2 outs and a runner at first, and he's picked off. Martinez gets the final out in the 8th with a pickoff. Schaefer was leaning, and the tag applied by Mark Reynolds. No argument from the Brewers. That sends us to the 9th inning. And what an evening, and what a job by Carlos Martinez. Perfect throw. Molina leads it off, and we come back. Going with their closer here, Francisco Rodriguez, as Yadier Molina will lead it off. He's 5th in saves, not a lot of opportunities, and having a fabulous year. Another all-star campaign. He now has 382 saves, 7th most in Major League Baseball history. So 382, and up next, Dennis Eckersley, the Hall of Famer, at 390.
Craig Counsell is going to not have to answer any questions from other managers, namely Clint Hurdle or Joe Madden, as he's trying to keep the Cardinals at bay, bringing in the closer. This is the 9th inning, but
want to know the count on Molina. One ball, one strike. Molina is hitless tonight. Pair of strikeouts and is also grounded out. And Yadi lifts a fly ball out to left. That's out number 1. Slams his bat. And you just wonder in the back of his mind if he thought, that's my pitch. He hung that and got away with it.
Yeah, he just didn't sound crisp, and he didn't really hit it on the sweet part of the bat, but he looked like he tried to make an adjustment, just frustrated that he couldn't do more with that pitch. Got a good feeling about Colton Wong.
The Cardinals with 6 hits tonight. They have stranded 7. And really the story of this ball game for the Cardinals, just a remarkable effort from Carlos Martinez. Defensive plays, pickoff, a double, strikes out 9. The 1-0. maybe his best start of the year.
We were talking between the innings about that, and if it is not, it's as good as his best effort. And coming at the right time. Got to answer a few questions whether he is tiring, because he had a great outing.
And a ground ball hit to the right side. Scooter Gennett, 2 down. Two outs, and it brings in John Jay. Grounded into a 6-4-3 double play back in the 7th. It's been Pena, Knebel, Smith, Jeffress, and now K-Rod. With a quick inning too here, Al. It's something you don't see a lot of, but you wonder. You know, he's had 6 pitches here, pretty easy. What'd you think about
bringing him back?
Yeah.
I think you got to think about it, but you know, a lot of these guys today, these closers are creatures of habit. And most of the time, they're only out there for 1 inning, so you want to tell him before he starts shutting it down mentally. Rodriguez, this is his 53rd appearance, and he has pitched 50 1/3 innings. So doesn't look like he's gone more than an inning this year.
1-1. 2 strikes on Jay. Herrera, Braun, and Lynn due up. Holiday has been activated, is available to pinch hit tonight. 1-2 pitch. Just missed.
And it's not often you have your closer, in this case for 2014 was K-Rod with 44 saves, and he doesn't make your media guide the next year. It's in the supplemental.
It's hard to do.
He did it.
2-2 in the dirt.
And the reason why is, he just couldn't get any takers as a free agent, or none that satisfied him, so he decided late to come back to Milwaukee.
Greg Garcia is at the on-deck circle if Jay can extend the inning. Garcia has been a very good pinch hitter, 8 for 19. Will we see him? The 3-2. We will.
Even some of the greats will make that fatal mistake of walking a man late. Cost him a ball game. You're right. Garcia's done a nice job as a pinch hitter. Leads the club in pinch hitting hits.
He may be forcing his way onto the postseason roster.
He's 8 for 19 as a pinch hitter, leading the Cardinals in pinch hits. We've seen a knack that he has for reaching base. So Peter Borges will pinch run for John Jay. Might look back, and that John Jay walk may be a real key to this another come from behind victory. Kind of kidding with John Mozeliak, Cardinal general manager, about, did you have any thought about bringing up one of the Cardinal minor leaguers? And he said, we already have roster problems.
We have enough. First pitch to Garcia, strike.
And I think what he's referring to is it's going to be very interesting and trying to find your 25 when you go into the postseason roster, and it could change dramatically at each level of postseason.
The check on Borges. Borges, for as well as he runs, is not a very good base stealer, at least not this year. 5 steals. He's been caught 7 times. But ball gets in the gap, he may score.
And it really seemed like he got off to a fast start with those steals as a pinch runner, but just had a tough time of late.
And it's hit off the end of the bat. Segura quickly to first. What a play. Good ball game, 1-1. Tremendous outing by Carlos Martinez. Make a case, his best of the season. We're in the bottom of the 9th. And now the Cardinals go to their bullpen. Chevy called to the pen. Kevin Segrist, 72nd appearance. And while Holiday is activated, I'm sure there's some fans saying, well, if he's activated, why not pinch hit there with a chance to put the Cardinals on top? I think it gives you an idea that they're going to be extremely cautious with him, even though he is on the active roster.
Yeah, and a guy like K-Rod with, you know, all the arms and legs and funkiness, and Peter Borges stays in center field, may not be the guy you want to bring him back against. So who knows? You may get a better matchup down the road.
Segrist will get Herrera, the switch hitter. This side of the plate, 208 hitter, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. He was robbed back in the 4th by Stephen Piscotty. And one of the top plays of the year, he was robbed by Carlos Martinez in a bunt attempt. He's also struck out, so he's hit into some tough luck here tonight. 0-2 the count. Ryan Braun on deck, and then Adam Lynn. You certainly worry about the man on deck. 6-time All-Star, all-time home run leader in Milwaukee history, Ryan Braun, who has 25 this year. The 1-2. Hit out of play.
There is 1 for 2 off of Segrist. Not many at bats to really tell anything good or bad. Ryan Braun on deck is 0 for 1.
Inside. And it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The bullpen has been very good against the Brewers this year. 30 1/3 innings of work, only 6 earned. The 2-2. Strikeout to start the bottom of the ninth. This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Cardinals. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals.
Seagrass does lead the league in appearances. This is his 72nd of the year.
Those guys look pretty pumped up, didn't they?
Hard charger.
1 out and nobody on as Braun looks at a ball. One of the key moves that paid off for the Cardinals. Runners at second and third in the 6th inning. 1 out, intentional walk of Braun to bring in Lynn. And Lynn with the bases loaded and a 3-1 count hit into an inning double play started by Mark Reynolds.
See, Braun just crushes left-handed pitching, but Seagrass isn't your typical left-hand.
The 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. First 2 have been nowhere close. Martinez tonight, 8 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, 9 strikeouts, 2 walks, one of those intentional. The home run to Chris Davis back in the 5th. 2-0 the count on Braun. You know he's got the green light.
How far Yachty's set up outside. They don't want to strike.
A real issue, and it seems like an eternity ago, was spring training. The Cardinals working on the move and delivery to the plate of Kevin Seagrass, which has been much better this year. And I bring that up because one of the things you have to think about is Ryan Braun running. He's got 23 steals this year.
But you're absolutely right. Kevin Seagrass has really worked on spring training, and it has paid off. He's picked off some guys, but it's a lot tougher to steal against him. And then remember, all you have to do is give Molina a chance, and very few will be successful.
.231 against those lefties. One out and a runner at first. First pitch to Lynn. Fastball taken low.
Has never faced Seagrass.
Seven attempts with Seagrass on the mound this year. Cardinals have caught 4 of them. 1-0 pitch. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's a 1-1. Oh, he almost got him with a step off.
step off and you throw, and you don't have a lot on that. You made it pretty close. Hard to get a lot of your body behind that throw when you just step off and throw.
Cardinals are taking a look at that too. One ball, one strike. Boy, he has pounded the lower half of the outside corner to Lind. He's got just one of those 3 pitches. 2 balls and 1 strike. He's 0 for 3 tonight. The 2-1 pitch. 2-2. The 2-2. Big gap in right center. The outfield is deep. The 2-2 pitch. Chopped off the plate. Segrist makes the play. Boy, he's had issues all season long throwing to various bases around the infield.
You're absolutely right, and you see him take his time, and he didn't have a whole lot of time to take. But they'll bring up Rogers, Jason Rogers. He's talking with John Shelby and about Rogers. Paid him a pretty high compliment. He said Rogers reminds him of Bill Madlock. Madlock was an outstanding hitter in his time. I think he won 4 batting titles. But this kid was their minor league player of the year a couple years ago. He is 1 for 2 off of Segrist.
Leads their team with 11 pinch hits, 43 pinch hit at bats. First pitch, a strike.
He's hitting for K-Rod, so they'll only have his 1 inning of work.
This is a hot hitter, too. On their recent road trip, he hit .579. Winning run at second base. 1 ball, 1 strike with 2 outs. If we get to the 10th, it'll be Carpenter, Piscotty, and Hayward. The 1-1. Segrist keeps going to that side of the plate, not getting those calls. Not to say that they're strikes, but he's been right there on the borderline.
It's a real difference between if a guy is going to be really successful at this level is can he pitch to his glove side. In that case, inside to the right-handed hitters. Got him moving outside now.
2-1. A ball. 3-1. On deck, it's Santana, who has struck out 3 times. Do you deal with a red-hot hitter here with a count of 3-1?
You don't groove one. You know, you go make your pitch, perfect spots, down and away, up and in, something like nature, but don't let him beat you on a 3-1.
So second walk in the inning.
Talk about Segrist leading the National League in appearances, but sometimes gets alarming is he's not a real efficient reliever. He throws a lot of pitches. He's got 22 already this inning, and we haven't heard him complain about anything. We've never seen him not available, but I wish he was a little more efficient.
Pitch misses, down and in. And now Molina calls time and wants to visit. Domingo Santana struck out in the 2nd, the 5th, and the 7th. As Martinez struck out 9 tonight, 3 of them of this right-handed batter.
I learned a lot of pitching from a guy named Bob Gibson. And I know Bob always kind of cringes. They do things a lot different today, but late in the ball game, you know, Bob would not want to pitch inside for strikes, especially to a guy that could turn on a ball and hit it out. Pitch up and in, pitch away. A lot of times you don't want to go down and in because you just drop the bat head, whether it's left or right, and you hit it to the short part of the field. But a lot of the theories are changed dramatically.
The 1-1. 1-2.
You see, and that's where they want to keep on going, is that down and in.
Part of the play has been inconsistent.
Right. You know, so
and
you're trying to make like perfect pitches.
1-2 pitch. Foul back.
You don't want to leave it in the middle of the plate. It becomes that much more hittable.
Seagrass trying to send us to the 10th. Right-hander getting loose for Milwaukee. Winning run is Braun at second base. 1-2 pitch. He got him. A strikeout for Seagrass. 2 in the inning. And we have extra innings in game 1 of this all-important series between the Cardinals and Brewers. The top of the lineup coming up. Seagrass, a scoreless ninth. Beef jerky all season long. Jack Link's beef jerky, feed your wild side. So Seagrass sends us to the 10th. And Tyler Thornburg is the new pitcher. It's our Chevy call to the pen, his 21st appearance. He's been in the rotation. He's been in the bullpen. And now he'll pitch the 10th inning.
He's also been on the disabled list a lot, but he got the loss on Sunday. And it was the first loss of the season. That was in Pittsburgh. He's posted a 2.29 ERA in the 14 appearances since rejoining the team. He didn't have Tommy John, but he had a basically a precursor to Tommy John, and so they shut him down, gave him one of the platelet injections to try and recover and avoid the surgery.
And a strike to Carpenter, who has struck out twice and is 0 for 4. Carpenter, Piscotty, and Hayward for St. Louis. We are tied at 1-1. Chris Davis, a home run in the 5th for Milwaukee. The Cardinals get an RBI from Peralta in the 6th. A fabulous performance tonight from starter Carlos Martinez. And I mean, he did a little bit of everything. 9 strikeouts, a double off the wall, a pickoff, terrific defensive play. The 1-1. A 2-1 pitch. Carpenter with a bouncer to the right side, and an error on Lind. Will it be? Yes. As Carpenter is safe, Lind is 4th error this year.
Well, we know Adam Lind is an outstanding hitter, and he's made some real nice defensive plays in this game, but he's not noted as a very good defensive player. Played well for them, but that could be a costly error right there to lead off this 10th inning.
It's the first error committed by either side, and now it's Piscotty.
Piscotty has a chance to extend his hitting streak to 7 games. He's batted .348 during that streak. He's 0 for 3 with a walk tonight.
Thornburg is the 6th pitcher used by Milwaukee this evening.
So that's the only thing they beat us in. Pitchers used.
And a strike to Stephen Piscotty. On deck, Jason Hayward. Average at .324 for Stephen. One ball and 1 strike. Jonathan Broxton begins to throw in the Cardinals' pen. Inside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Last time we were here, it was Broxton who gave up a 2-run homer back on August 9th. It cost the Cardinals a game. That was in the 8th inning.
That was to Chris Davis, and he's out of the game. I never heard if there was an injury or not.
Very surprised they took him out. On the surface of the move, it would make a lot of sense, but who knows? The 2-1. 2-2. Two pitch. Popped foul and out of play.
Scotty come up with some big hits. 30 RBIs, playing in his 50th game.
2-2 the count. The next to Piscotty. Ground ball. Herrera, nice play from his knees, out at second and safe at first. It's a second very good play we've seen from Elian Herrera here in this ball game. All the way back in the first, he robbed Johnny Peralta of an extra base hit and RBI.
I saw him do a backhand against Peralta. Here he goes a couple steps to his left, reaches, spins to stop his momentum from one knee, throws over to Jeanette. But they couldn't get Piscotty, so Jason Hayward, who's had some of the bigger nights offensively for the Cardinals, he'll get a chance.
Bounced in the dirt, and Piscotty stays at the bag. Maldonado has been busy behind home plate this evening.
Defensively, he's a very fine catcher. Idolizes Yadier Molina. Question, does he kind of get overexposed with Lucroy on the DL with a concussion? Does he play too often, he get kind of worn out or overexposed? Two doubles, a walk, scored the lone run for the Cardinals, came in on a Peralta RBI back in the 6th.
The 2-0 pitch to Hayward. 3-0. A 3-0 delivery. Taken for a strike. Two-hit night for Johnny Peralta. He's on deck. Hayward with 11 home runs this year. He's driven in 53. Piscotty, a runner at first base. 3-1 pitch. Hayward drills it out to deep right. Cardinals go on top. A line shot into right, and a 2-run homer for Jason Hayward.
Sorry, Dan, but he has 12 home runs. I forgot just to add that, but you are setting it up for his 12th home run. His 3rd hit of the game, all 3 of them extra base hits. And that's 4 straight games that Hayward has had a multi-hit game. Leading the Cardinals right here, and that's a happy bunch right there. Let's see if Peralta can't keep on adding on.
Hayward with an emphatic blast into right. 3-hit night, 2 doubles, and now a 2-run homer.
He hits them, they go, don't they?
That ball was scorched.
It was a second deck, but it was reached the second deck beyond the overhang, all the way backward, go back to the top of the bullpen. Peralta with a mighty rip.
That's well hit out to left, a sinking liner, but the catch is made. Two outs, and here is Reynolds. Off the end of the bat, and there's strike 1.
It's like Reynolds' streak of 7 straight years of 20 or more home runs going to come to an end, but chose to come to St. Louis with a chance that that would come to an end. That probably would be hitting off the bench, playing behind Adams. But he chose St. Louis because he wanted to go to postseason, wanted to be on a winner.
Well, you just feel that coming with Jason Hayward, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Two strikes on Mark Reynolds. Jason Hayward with home run number 12. He is now 10 for 20 on the road trip as they go up the ladder. RBIs 54 and 55, and what could be win number 90 this year for the Cardinals. The 2-2. Ouch. Ho-hum reaction from the home plate umpire as Reynolds strikes out, but Jason Hayward here in the 10th inning. A line shot into right, and with this, a 2-1 St. Louis lead. Win number 90, it may happen in dramatic fashion. Line them up. 3-1 St. Louis. And the Cardinals go on top by the score of 3-1 here in the 10th inning. They'll turn it over to Trevor Rosenthal. He is 43 of 45 in saves this season. The closer's had a remarkable year. It's our Chevy call to the pen. It'll be Gene Segura, Maldonado, and Schaefer due up.
Trevor is definitely rested. This is his 6th day of rest. And how about this? Cardinals win this game. That'll be Cardinals winning 21 straight games that Rosenthal has appeared in. Second to Melanson in saves.
And quickly, there's 2 strikes on Segura. Last time that Thornburg was on the mound, which was Sunday, gave up a walk-off single to Josh Harrison. And tonight, it's a 2-run homer to Jason Hayward. Jay Hay has gotten the best of him. That pitch at 99. Segura 0 for 3. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Rosenthal looking for save number 44. And the 1-2 pitch to Segura. Foul back.
Severa is 2 for 8 off of Rosenthal.
What a night for Hayward. Not only the doubles and the home run, but also a stolen base. Big night for Carlos Martinez. Takes a no decision in this game, and the Cardinals 3 outs away from win number 90 on the year. The 1-2 pitch. 2-2. Triple digits for Rosenthal.
You close out this one, and you're right, Martinez doesn't pick up his 14th win, but in his starts, the Cardinals would be 21-6. Pretty impressive.
The 2-2 pitch to Gene Segura. Have to get there first, and 3 tough outs to get. Got him. 99 on the gun. And a strikeout to start the bottom of the 10th for Rosenthal. Let's turn to our player of the game. As always, a presentation of Budweiser. Jason Hayward, the big night. 3 for 4, 2 runs, a couple of RBIs, and our Budweiser player of the game.
Pitch hitter Luis Sardinas, a little switch hitter.
And the first pitch, ground ball that's hit to short. There's Johnny Peralta. 2 away. Logan Schaefer is 1 for 1 with a single back in the 8th. The final hope for Milwaukee. A win tonight also means Pittsburgh would be 3 back. Hit out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Magic number to reach postseason. Go down to 5. It would be down to 16 over the Pirates to clinch the National League Central.
And a 1-1. Fouled back. 1 strike away.
And the Cardinals are 1 strike away from winning 90 wins for the 3rd straight season.
And the Cardinal fans here in Milwaukee on their feet. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The next from Rosenthal. Line down the left field line, and a foul ball.
Team all of a sudden came out Sunday. It looked like a different ball club. Well timing of the off day yesterday, and coming in here to Milwaukee, all of a sudden the right combination. Give Brewers a lot of credit. They battled hard tonight.
1-2 pitch is a base hit, and the tying run will come to the plate. That was 100 miles per hour in on the hands. Scooter Gennett. 0 for 4 tonight. He has 6 home runs this season. He represents the tying run. First pitch is a strike at 99. Rosenthal has rest, and he is throwing gas here tonight.
We've seen that last couple of years. Every time he gets a little rest, and as I said, he hadn't pitched in 6 days. He's got the velocity tonight.
Here's the 0-1. Make it 0-2. And again, the Brewers down to their final strike. The 0-2. Got him! 101 on the gun. Win number 90. And the Cardinals are 3 in front of Pittsburgh. The final 3-1 in 10.
A lot of people are resting a little easier right now, but the Cardinals are coming back. You get that kind of pitching performance from your starter like Martinez gave today, everything will fall in place. Took a while for the offense to go, but Hayward delivered in the clutch, and the Cardinals pull off a big victory.
Save number 44 for Trevor Rosenthal. The Cardinals win it by the final of 3-1. A night that we saw a little bit of everything from Jason Hayward. New career high in steals. That's number 22. This blast, number 12, and it comes in the 10th, a 2-run shot. The Cardinals never look back. Jason Hayward and the Cardinals pick up win number 90. Post-game show next.